test. Welcome, welcome everyone. Good to see you, Sudo, Mel, Arnold. Got some interesting price action. Welcome Wes de Vries as well. Slatan, of course. Let's wait 1 minute for some people to join, and then we dive into it. I'm just behind the screen, so I have to update a bit what happened. Welcome Kijos as well, and Lise. Well, let's just get started, and then people can join later on. We basically are in the same range we have been in since we made that weekly high on Tuesday. And then we have seen quite a lot of just some chop right here. And right now a pretty aggressive drop after we pushed a little higher. But that one has now finally tapped into one of the higher probability zones I was watching, which was this demand, which we front ran yesterday twice. And right now, I think we also filled the single prints. So let's have a look at that. Yeah, so we had some single prints left below. They have been tagged, but we have some more lower right here into like 72.5. So yeah, like some single prints resting below. So let's get rid of that one. Single prints are the green. So if I just zoom out and watch the view, and we are still in this overall bullish trend, with basically range push higher, range push higher, potential range push higher. That's still what I think is most likely till we take out the current high and have like a good sweep of that ultimate high. And the moment we start forming like a good distribution up here, that's when I think we can look for swing shorts all the way back down. But until proven otherwise, I think we will, or are like more likely, because of course we never know what will happen, but more likely to continue this overall uptrend. And then we know often Bitcoin likes to make pretty deep retraces to make everyone believe that it will be not a higher low anymore. And then cross it right here and then maybe form like D3 drive and then go down. So that this is like still my main view until we start distributing nicely above like 76k. And then this is the new range I am basically looking at with the range high, range low, validation of the mid range, and then this is potentially tap 2, but we have to see how it develops. But because for now this is pretty aggressive move into a second tap. So I have to see if this moves much lower from here, then I have to consider if this is still a good second tap. But if we hold here, come back here, then we can look for potentially the model 1 and then have click the 1, 2, 3, fill the single prints into this demand and then push higher. And then the same basically as always, if we get that nice return to zone here, then we can look for longs, potentially with a weekend manipulation here. So that's a bit of the main idea I currently have. Let's see if we pull the... We are currently also at the anchored VWAP. So from this swing low to that swing high, we are now testing it. So it can be interesting how we hold here. If we hold, then this is our tap 2 to watch. And then we do the same as always, which is basically watch how the third tap forms. If that will either be a model 2, if you get good structure into this move, and then a break, or the model 1 where you make a lower one. Let's see, from this swing low to this swing high where the fib levels are located. Yeah, that's also this demand. So this is a interesting PY with the single prints, the fib levels right here, and yeah, overall multiple ways to look at it, but under proof and otherwise looking for this. And then you can watch either for here a model, or what can also happen is that it's, for example, a local bullish tier 3. So multiple ways how we can look at it. It can also be that we do this and then aggressive drop, accumulate here, and then have like the expansion higher. So we had a push higher, but then like directly on New York Open, we had a lot of strong selling. So with that move, we have created a clear supply here, which is basically the last higher low, higher high locally, and then a strong sell. So this is the refined supply, but basically this is now all local supply. Since we are in a range here, then I only pay attention to like the more refined supply. So if price comes back into here, you can also watch for potential rejections. And you can see here with that volume candle, like this is a lot of sell volume. So yeah, I personally will never blindly take longs here. I want to either see like price stall here and then see some structure and then look for longs. But yeah, for now locally, this is showing a lot of seller strength. So if you want to long, be careful. This is locally looking more bearish. So I have to see how the price develops here. But so far, this local demand is holding. So I have to see how that develops. Welcome, Rice Baby as well. So yeah, gonna set an alert in that supply to see how we come up into that level. And then alert in the single prints. And then the view is yeah, pretty simple. Look for potential shorts here, long developments here. If we start losing this demand, then it looks a lot less good. But for now, it's looking good. So if we look, let's look at the order flow, what is happening. Okay, on the lower time frame, because we had some, look, this is interesting. We had some pretty aggressive spot buying earlier when we started to push up into New York, right here. And that seems like a nasty manipulative move, because all the spot that was bought, causing that local high, was also directly sold afterwards. So here you see like a lot of like open interest also nuking hard. So a lot of long positions have been wiped out, including perps selling off, spot selling off, and heavy negative delta. So a lot of positions have been nuked with this move, which is like a pretty nasty move. Seems like a big player just used spot buying to push it a little higher and then sell off, causing all these positions to be liquidated. Okay, so basically pretty clean view. And this is also what I said, like when we made this strong move higher, there I already said like 9 out of 10 times Bitcoin, either it continues like very strongly, or if it starts ranging, then this is where people want to catch up. So they either missed the long from here, and then they see price move higher, and then they want to compensate for that missed move and take like a lot of positions here, while most often Bitcoin just starts to range and people get dragged before the big move. Welcome, by the way, Matt THC. Let's see, was that spot buying your trigger to enter the long? Partially. I will explain my the long I took. Let's see, I was nuked. Thank you, stop loss. Yeah, it was a nasty move. On what what have you been nuked, Kijos? On you took Tau, right? I saw something. Was it Tau? Tau took the range low. Mm, mm. BTC. Yeah. Okay, let's first go over BTC. Weekly P1 warning. I can have a look, but I don't believe there's a weekly P1 warning. But let me double check it. BTC, a lot of liquidity on both sides. Nope, noodles for me tonight. Yeah, it was a nasty move, to be honest. Okay, let me first see if we have a weekly P1 warning. I don't think so, because otherwise I would have... I don't know why it automatically goes to... No, there's no weekly warning on my dashboard. It's close to warning. It's now 89.6% of the weekly lows have a bigger wick. So likely if I put it on 5 years, yeah, then you have the wick. It gives a warning if it's above 90%. So the P1 has a warning, but since we already made a big move higher, I don't think it's likely to go back to that weekly low. So I don't take that into account. I thought there were already 3 taps and didn't expect long again to get swept out. Yeah, so the long I took, it was basically the same as the one I took here and the one I took here. Where was it? Here. Because I had this local range. Yeah, this internal range, this one. With tab 1, tab 2, tab 1 at the high. Oh. Tab 1 at the high, tab 1 at the low. Then tab 2 at the high, tab 2 at the low. This was basically my range. Let's make it clean like this. So 2 taps at the highs, 2 taps at the lows, and then we started taking out the range low, so the local range low. So this is where I often like to put on the deviation threshold. And then price was taking out the low. So then I already know like potentially 1, 2, 3, potentially the accumulation. And prices, like this move was pretty aggressive, but here you have like, this is a lot of liquidity. So pretty good return to zone. So if we start taking out the low, that's where I'm interested in potential 3-tap formations. So this is a PY. So I was like locally, I was seeing this. Let's clean this up. This is the local range. That can be the manipulation. And this one is the one I've been playing multiple times this week. Where we have that potential 3-tap formation in a PY and with quite a lot of aggressiveness. So this is a lot of aggressiveness, which we could also see again in the order flow. Like here. Like quite a lot of positions got closed here, but price did not move lower. So then you have some sort of absorption. So what I was watching here is a tab 1, tab 2. We did not sweep our low for model 1, which would have been the cleaner one. But instead we wigged it here, came up a little bit above it there, and then here. So this was potentially the tab 3 of the model 2. But hard to validate because there was not really any good structure. But from the left to right, this right here gave like an internal break structure. So let's delete that. And then we pushed above. So this was the trigger where I thought, okay, if we're gonna break bullish, at this one, let's see, this was the first horizontal I had. Then we broke above, retested, pushed above. And this was the level where I thought, okay, if we're gonna, I'm not sure what was my entry. Here. If we're gonna push or create this as the model 2, then I think it's from here. And this is like a risky trade, super risky. I don't advise to take it. But it was more the confluence of this model 2 or the model 1 potentially with that internal local range. And there, yeah, I took it and the price started to push higher. And it was with, it was like a London position. So I rarely like to trade London because my win rate in London is much lower than New York. So I closed almost like 80-75% on this push higher. And then I saw price make this higher low and then higher high. And this is where I was not watching the screens anymore. But I thought that is likely to take out all this buy side liquidity and just complete this model 1, 1, 2, 3, and take out the range high. But yeah, instead price pushed higher and then aggressively sold off. Not really like, yeah, I don't see really a very justifiable reason why this pushed lower. It's not really like a distribution or anything. But yeah, the market is not always super predictable. But that was the reason why I took that local long. Just basically playing this local model 1. And then it helped that spot was buying. So here I saw like here at the low, so on this candle, heavy spot buying, and that gave that little extra confluence to join the potential accumulation model. But this one did not play out, so now we are back to the bigger range, and then you can see ranges in ranges. This local range was within this bigger range we have been watching. So now potentially tap 2, but we have aggressive selling here, so that's always supply. So we can keep an eye on that. But yeah, now my main focus is just on this this new range. Good to see you, Gregory Picelli. Welcome in the chat. Yes, that's why I didn't expect the nuke now. Yeah. Yeah, like sometimes it happens because the market can just make unpredictable moves, but basically watching that local range with that buy side liquidity above, which was already partially taken, I expected this to continue higher. But yeah, in hindsight, good that I closed almost everything there. And now I'm just gonna watch this second tap, but we are absorbing the sell pressure, so that's potentially good for the second tap. But if I see this, then I already know like this is gonna take some time before the proper 3-tap forms. So for the like next few hours, there's nothing to trade for me on BTC at least, which is almost always the case after such an aggressive move like this. Then I want to see test that, go sideways, give something, and then I can look for basically the same trade which I took here, playing that local model 1 is then the same as I'm watching here, but then in the bigger picture. You're a hardcore scalper. Yeah. I love to scalp. I like to have some action and directly see movements after the trade. But it has not always been like that. I've in the past I could not control myself, and then scalping is very dangerous. What makes London different from New York? Usually London is I can show you. I use the statistics. I'm not sure if you follow me long enough for these statistics, but basically you have like sessions. So here you can see those sessions, which is like Asia, which is in midnight for us. Then you have London, which is a London session. And right now we are in the New York session. But usually you have like what we have today, for example. Asia can print strong lows or highs on the daily. So right now we have, for example, a daily high on Asia. Then London is more like very rarely London prints a daily high or daily low. So oftentimes it's within the other sessions. And then the strongest session is New York, which prints strong daily highs or lows. So basically what we have today is an example of what is usually the case, where you either have like Asia high, New York low, or New York low, Asia high. But here you see like London more is very rarely prints a daily high or daily low. And very often it's just a very boring session. Similar as to here. This is London with Asia going down, London chopping around, and then New York giving action. So my win rate on like a London session is very low. I don't like London price action because it's very rarely giving anything actionable. Here again, Asia low, London chop, New York takes out London low and then makes new daily high. London just chop in between. So I use London mostly to make my plans for the day and execute during New York. Because often the moves you make during London get retraced afterwards. So I like to take, or like I think most of us do, but like to catch daily highs or daily lows because then you get expansion. But for example, today, the long I took here was basically against that knowledge. Because here I was long and I took out 75 to 80% there. So that's basically a good thing. But imagine I did not do that and use this as my stop loss and targeted new highs. Then I would basically go expect that the London printed the daily low. But I know that it's very unlikely that London prints a daily low. So basically what happened here is, again, a validation that for my system, where I like to catch the lows of an accumulation or the highs of a distribution, the chance of that playing out during your London session is much lower than doing that with an Asia or a New York pivot. So that's the difference between New York. It's basically don't trust London moves. That's basically the conclusion of it. London low is a no-go, yeah. And London high as well. It's okay, so Arno, did you learn the most from scalping? Yes, definitely. But I also lost the most with scalping. But scalping, it lets you learn the market dynamics the most. And basically what happens on the very low time frame is the same as what happens on the higher time frame. So if you are always watching like the 1 hour or the 4 hour, then it will take you years to see the same as if you are watching like the 3-minute chart. Because here you will see much more often the same patterns and stuff. But it's also important to stay zoomed out, because if you are only zoomed in very much on the low time frame, it can play with your emotions and stuff. But for experience, I think low time frame definitely gives you the fastest learning curve. Welcome, Dylan. Good to see you. Yeah, scalping, it's different. It's super hard. So for most people, I would not advise to scalp. Let's see. Tau is back at supply. Oh yeah. Okay, that's good because that validates the tab 2. Back into supply. Creating some demand while pushing higher. This is our market structure high right now. We do not have 5-minute structure, but we have demand here. So I'm gonna look if we come back into that demand, how it moves. Like these 2 sell candles with the imbalance, so pretty clean demand. Overall, here's what I don't like: the aggressive moves into your second tab. So like here, similar as what we have with BTC, aggressive move into your second tab, and more than not, you will see slow price action. So what I would like to see here is we have tab 1, tab 2, aggressive move into tab 2, give like maybe a higher push, and then get like that slow pullback right here, break structure. And then you also have the healthy distance between tab 1, tab 2, and tab 3. And then like picture perfect is if we create like a return to zone like this. If we get this, oh la la, this is like picture perfect. To create this textbook of a model, which is the potential PO3 of this range. That would be crazy. So definitely keeping an eye on Tao. Also alert here if we push above it. And we can always watch for this local range. What is like the volume profile? And you also see we are below the fell. So we're low for now. So I think this needs some time to do this and then eventually come down. And then super interested in longs. In case it does this and then breaks above there, then can also still look at longs on the backtest. Like this. Because then we have broken this local downtrend. Back to bullish. So definitely keeping an eye on it. Let's see. I see the British are phlegmatic. Yeah. I'm not sure what it means, but probably they are. Do you always extend the range to tab 2 or only for model 1? It depends. Most often not always, it depends a bit. Like here, if we truly wick it, like now I keep it like this, but if it develops further, starts doing this, then I extend it. Because at that point, like all the liquidity below this low has now been taken. So where's the new liquidity? Well, first of all, we have demand here for the model 2, but for the model 1, the liquidity is now resting below this low. And the longer price consolidates above, the more liquidity below this low will be there. So there's not a hard rule to always directly move it lower, but I often do it. Also, if you look at your deviation threshold, then right now this is the deviation threshold. But since we made a wick and came back into the range, you can extend it to the tab 2, and then the deviation threshold is at the lower level. Which means that if we do this and go for the model 1, we can come all the way back down here to still put in a deviation move. Keeping a hawk eye on the tab 3 for Tau. Yeah, let's keep a hawk eye on it together. Because this is, if we can catch this, like this, get rid of that. Like this local liquidity, so buy side liquidity is already super nice, but this right here as well. So I would not be surprised that if this reverses, it can quickly resolve higher again. So Tau definitely interesting. And what is Hype doing? Because Hype confirmed the Model 1. early in the week we had this 1, 2, 3 model 2 came back down, and there I already said like it's likely that this will be our range high starting point and this our range low starting point, and that turned out to be true, where we now have 1, 2, third tap, and we broke this internal structure back to bearish, basically validating this as our third tap of the model 1 with technical target the range low. I had an alert in this supply, but we just front ran it. And beside it, there was not a valid entry to already be in a short. Because if you look at structure, like technically, we should even use this as the low, because this one did not exceed that high, but it's the internal higher low. So I was watching here for potential short, because I knew this is like clean invalidation, but structure wise, there was no structure in this leg from low to high. So that one only came after this drop, where we broke structure. And then yeah, technically it tapped into this supply. And it gave structure. So this could have been a scalp short if you were behind the screen. Unlike the break. Yeah, if I was behind the screen, this would have been like a valid entry. Like a scalp again. What I would like to see now is, I'm still interested in shorts, because technical target is the range low. So let's see if we have a good PY still. If there's something left behind. Well, this is basically mitigated. This is fresh supply. Here we also have some resting supply. And here's some gaps. So it would be lovely if price wants to go from here, clears like that gap, and then gives like kind of a model 1 into a model 2. Like that will be super clean. That's also only the only way I can get into short. So let's just put some alerts here, here, and then there. Because yeah, I can short here, but my invalidation has to be at least as above this high. And then to the range low, it's like 1.6. I don't like that. So what I would like to see is to get some structure into these levels. And the moment that flips back to bearish, get a short, stop there, and then target the range low. Then have something like this. So let's see if hype wants to give us something. For longs, not really seeing anything, because it's mostly all liquidity, not really any clean demand. So longs, real long interest, or you need to form like a super high probability range here in the middle with like a model 1 or model 2 or anything. But otherwise I'm waiting for this demand below the range low for longs again. So that's hype, Tao, BTC, ETH. Let's watch it. That's British humor. Yeah, it's probably is. Everyone, please tag me in Discord if the third tap of Tao happens. I'm at the wedding this weekend. Imagine I miss it. Yeah, I hope so too, because you know that my alerts are as reliable as Trump. So, but I will try to keep an eye on it. But also during this weekend, I don't have a lot of attention to the charts, especially not on Saturday. Let's see, ETH has taken all this sell-side liquidity that was created on the move down, on the move up, and also potentially creating the tap 2 of this range, very similar to BTC. And it tapped into the single prints. So basically the same situation as BTC, supply created right here. Potentially the second tap of this accumulation model. And let's see if these single prints are filled. Charge my okay, not all the single prints have been filled. So we have some resting. So let me adjust it. So then for ETH, it's not a super clean range yet. But what I would like to see more is then maybe come up into supply, come down, fill those single prints for model 1, and then look for longs. Yeah, watching this, I think this needs further development before I can see the next trade. So no hurry. It's basically the same for Tao, also needs more time. Hype, hopefully getting that entry on the backtest. And BTC also needs more time. So I think we have we need some patience. And then I missed gold basically because it front ran my supply. But we basically had like here a local model 1, 2, 3, but not really any structure to confirm the third tap. Can watch like here from the low up you have high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So you broke it back to bearish right here. So that could technically have been the entry, but I'm not sure if I would have taken it. Because first of all, we left behind this little supply. So I would have liked to see that be tapped and then break structure. And beside that, we also had supply above. So a reason to tap into that. But yeah, it would have played out if you just followed the model 1 with the internal 5-minute break. Was that break inside the volume profile? No. So yeah, it would have worked out, but it was not a high probability play. So what I'm watching right now is maybe this local distribution is the start of a bigger range. where we now have like very similar look to our crypto coins, basically. The second tab potentially before going higher. But that fully depends how price behaves here. But if we form like a good third tab, I can see this still come up here and then potentially still give that model 2 or the model 1. But then price needs to be absorbed here because locally we have a lot of sell side liquidity down here. So fully depends how price develops from here. This also created some supply. Was there some news that we, because gold also directly just after New York Open also dumped hard directly with crypto. We put an alert at this supply and at the low and then observe just this range. Let's see if we get an accumulation for longs. Similar as BTC. And then let me quickly check oil. Yeah, tomorrow it's Friday, so maybe Trump has something up in his sleeve. But so far, it's not it's moving super quiet, especially for oil lately. So nothing to see here. Then I think everything is updated. Patience is name of the game. I didn't see. No, I had a quick look, but I also did not see any news. But yeah, if like crypto and gold move at the same time, then oftentimes there is something. But I think pretty clean levels to look at. Accumulation on ETH. Let's see how it develops from here. Looking for the third tab formation on Tao. Looking for potential extended model 1 distribution. If we get a move into here. And the model 1 into model 2 for shorts. BTC, also watching the development of this local range for potential accumulations right there, or bullish period 3, or just any accumulation model. Similar as to gold. Needs to absorb here, otherwise all this sell side liquidity is next. So ES is still, yeah, ES is crazy. A very quick look at ES. ES. Yeah, like talking about the fee reversal. This is one of the craziest fee reversals. Like, what is this for chart? Look at this. This does not represent a healthy economy. But as long as it keeps pumping, who knows when it will end. So I think plans are clear. Then I'm gonna end the stream. We'll give a quick update in the Discord. Basically, it's all just waiting for the alerts to be hit and then execute the same range plays as we always do. So thanks everyone for tuning in again. Let's keep an eye on the third tab formations and then hopefully we can catch them. But I will not be surprised if we see them develop into the weekend. So It's always a bit less fortunate, but we'll see what happens. Maybe we get like a local range which we can play tomorrow or anything. Then Tao, what is Tao doing? Coming into the demand. Yeah, that needs more time. So give it time. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and see you guys all in the Discord as always. Cheers.